Hello everybody, welcome to the cabin, welcome to Commonwealth Flipper. Some of you all remember a video, you may remember a video that I put out a little over a week ago, I think at this point, maybe a week or so ago, I can't quite remember, about a buyer that bought something from me, opened a return request saying that the item was not real, that it was a fraudulent item, it was fake, something like that. That's what the return request said. And they had not even received the item yet. They subsequently left, I think, 3 messages. It might have been 2 plus the actual return request. That was just completely out of bounds in many ways, including some pictures that were also added to it. And I said in the video, I was like, hey, this is either a troll or somebody that has some serious mental issues, some kind of problem for sure. And now I think maybe not only is it one of those, but it is more than likely both of those, because the viewers brought to my attention quite a few things that now I know that this is not something that's happened once, twice. It's happened at least 3 times, and I have pretty good evidence that it's happened many more times than that. So I'm going to kind of show you how this story has evolved a little bit. And I think it is a serious issue. I think it's something eBay really needs to look at. This particular case, but cases similar to it, because we all know that eBay definitely has kicked sellers off of the platform. I know for a fact that they have also kicked buyers off of the platform, but it seems that there is kind of an end around this, and I know there is a solution for it, and I think they ought to look into these specific cases a lot better than they do, especially when they rise to this severity. And I've got some updates. The buyer sent something back to me. I'm going to show you that here in a little bit. I have not opened it. I don't think I'm going to open it. If I do, I'm not going to do it in here, because this kind of stuff seen on other folks' videos at this point has got me a little bit worried. Of course, I have to pull some items today. So in between items, here is the item. It was a Funko Pop. So clearly what was sent back to me was not a Funko Pop. Now, I will probably show you the other videos of the other creator that made a video about these not too long ago as well. I'll pop it up and you can go check it out. But I'm doing this in a specific way for a reason. Let me show you this item first here. This is a flute. And I pulled it out in a previous video and said it sold, but I had the wrong flute, so I had to take it back. This flute right here, believe it or not, it's got sterling silver. I don't know if I can't remember if it's just a mouthpiece or what it was that was sterling, or if it was all of it, but it sold $200 plus shipping. Now, I titled this video this way for a particular reason. So I've been criticized in recent months because I know people at eBay and all that. That was never ever the case. I do know that there are eBay people who watch this channel. Matter of fact, I've met some of you out there. To me, you're some awesome people. I'd rattle off your names, but I don't know if that would be appropriate. And I'm sure some of you are watching this now. I want everybody to know that I've gone through the official channels, like the kind of thing that anybody out there would do. I've reported this buyer. I'm going to talk about the different things that I have done and what I'm going to continue to do as well, because I think it's important not just to be able to make a phone call to somebody you know to get something taken care of. I think there ought to be processes that every eBay reseller has available to them to deal with this stuff. And so I've gone through those processes to see what's going to happen. Thus far, I have not got a response, and I don't expect to get a complete response because of the wording that I got when I put in this initial complaint. Meaning they're not going to tell me the end result of this. I think there's probably good reason for that kind of stuff. However, I think it'll be fairly easy to tell in the future if this has been taken care of or not. Had to run inside and grab this one. I would not have picked this one up unless I got it super cheap, because it's a pain in the butt. But it had a remote, and my buddy called me up, said, hey, is anything over here you might be interested in? And I saw this and I said, sure. Because it had a remote. It sold for $159 plus shipping. Now, I've got 3 different considerations when I was thinking about even doing this video or not. Because, you know, some of this stuff's touchy issues, especially when you're dealing with mental health and stuff like that. And so one of them has to do with eBay itself. I wanted to go through these processes and these systems to see what happened. But to me, some of this, after I've dug into this, thanks to a lot of your viewers, seems to be a little bit more significant than I thought. And I do think that it merits putting out this information to protect resellers, both content creator resellers and other resellers. I've had 2 different sellers reach out to me who do not make content, who believe that this is the very same person that did this to them too. And if people are getting merchandise for free, which is what's happened here, let's just face it, because in the other cases, eBay has given them their money back, even though they sent back items that were not the same, and not even not the same. They were disgusting. They were trash. They were, if you watch the other video I'm talking about, you'll know what I'm saying. And this clearly is leaking something through it. It is clearly not a Funko Pop. Not to mention, the tracking number that it was used to send it back to me was sent before my item ever arrived to them. So it is kind of confusing how somebody is allowed to return something that they haven't gotten yet. And that's a concern as well. I do have to pick some. I'm going to pick one thing. So this item was sent to me the day before they ever received the item that I sent to them. And on top of that, the item that I sent to them, they opened the request, obviously, before it got to them, because they got it and they printed it off and dropped it off at the post office. So there's stuff leaking through that thing. That is a concern. This isn't even in here. I can't believe I got to come over here. I forgot to bring it in yesterday. We just listed these. As many of you know, we were trying to do $15 and above items or multi-quantity if they're less than 15. So we didn't list the single quantity Damn It dolls. However, you guys love them, and half of them were selling to viewers. And we were going to sell them over on Whatnot or Dib or whatever. And we just decided, you know what, they're under 15 bucks, but we will list them anyways. And they're selling quickly. So some of them are, you're going to see on tomorrow's video, maybe someone later today. This skeleton one is pretty cool. That sold for $12.95 plus shipping. Now, in spite of what the thumbnail might seem like to some folks, this is not an eBay hit piece at all. I realize there are challenges, right? And I realize eBay has to appear and has to function in a way where buyers are comfortable thinking if they buy something, they're going to get that thing and they can return it if it's not what they're supposed to get. I get that. And you should, you know, I almost always siding if there's ever anything in question with the buyer. I get it. However, it would go a long way in order for some of us to stomach and eat some of those returns that we just don't think are right, if in the times and circumstances like we're talking about here, eBay would definitely do the right thing when there is no question whatsoever. It would make it easier on those kind of borderline things. But in this case, this person has bought multiple times, as many as 5, but I'm not 100% sure of that. So I will say definitely 3 times. And they are receiving a full refund for these items. That is doing nothing but encouraging this kind of process. And I know there's been 2 reports at least turned in, and it's still going on like this. I have not got the results of mine, but if it comes back with a standard response, but if this one comes back using their normal systems that says, hey, we're going to give you your money back, but we're also going to give them their money back, that's not good enough, because that encourages this behavior, and it will happen to another seller and another seller and another seller. Next item might take me a minute to find. It's glass, so give me a second. Didn't take me long at all. Vintage oil and vinegar set that sold for $16.10. By the way, this is repeat buyer, and if folks don't leave a message on the purchase, I usually don't read it, but I just want to acknowledge everybody who does buy and doesn't leave a message out there. I think this one was Amanda. Thank you very much. I think all of us sellers out there who've been selling for a very, very long time realize that this stuff is inevitable and it's bound to happen. But it's a different story when we're essentially encouraging bad behavior. And I think that this is the case. It's why I don't ever issue returns until something is back here. I just don't do it, because if people do that all the time and give partial returns and all that stuff, it just encourages more and more of it. It reminds me of my teaching days. You know, if I made a mistake, of course, and I know I made a mistake, that's a different story. I'm talking about ones where people are doing it on purpose in order to get a partial because they find a mistake you make or something like that. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. But when I was in the classroom, it's one of the problems I had with the administration for a long time, is they would give second, third, and fourth, and eighth, and the 100th chances to kids with bad behavior, which is I'm okay with in certain cases. If there's no other victim in a case but the kid himself, that's one scenario. But when their actions begin to affect everybody around them and the goals and dreams of other kids, then that's an entirely different situation. And that's what we're talking about here. This isn't just one little one-off case. It is something that is obviously happening multiple times. This person undoubtedly has been kicked off before and finds ways to get back on and make new accounts. And I know for a fact that there is a way to stop that. And I don't think that that's been done in this case. And I'm wondering how many cases are like that. I know I've heard stories from sellers and buyers where they can't create new accounts from the same address, same IP address and all that stuff. But clearly this person is able to do it and continue to get stuff, get refunds, get all their money back, and keep the stuff, and send out egregious and just ridiculous messages at the same time. Hey, let's give out another one of these. Blazer4.077. You're the winner. Send me a message at commonwealthpicker@gmail.com. So I was weighing all those things and even thinking about putting this video out at the same time, but I thought in the balance of things, because there's a lot of things to consider here, doing it this way as opposed to making a phone call to somebody who could connect me with somebody at eBay who absolutely would take care of my problem and I would get my, $16 back or whatever, was really not the right thing to do in the long run. But there's other considerations, and I get them. Why even bring this to light? It's what they want. I kind of get that too. But, I think that this was clearly a person that has some issues. And I'm no psychologist, and I don't know all the right answers and how to find them help and do whatever. But I am going later today to the post office. That's why I'm debating opening this on the show or not. I probably won't, but I don't know. I want them to have it intact, not been opened at all. And I want them to see what was returned to me. I have all the info, and I want to pursue it through the post office. I don't know how to do it other than that. I don't know, obviously you're not doing some kind of lawsuit or something over this. But I want to at least report it to them, get their, give them all the information I have, so that they can do whatever they do about it, which may be nothing, but at least I'm going to go through all the steps. Sold a Baltimore Ravens hat right here. New Era, has the tags and stuff, even though it's not perfect new condition, but it is a great New Era hat. And it sold, it's a $59.50, those are good ones. It sold for $19.99 plus shipping. Like I said, I wanted to go through the official process like everybody else has to do to see what would happen. I haven't got the results back yet. But I told them on the return request I wasn't going to accept the return. I wasn't going to pay for the return, all that stuff. Of course, I have it set for automatic returns, right? And so I don't really have any choice. But I said I was not going to issue the refund. I'm waiting to see if they automatically issue that refund, even though I went on the return request and reported it. I hope that's not the case. But I will say in the flipping junk video, I think he did the same thing. And then that's what happened to him. And then he had to appeal that decision, which is insane. That means that the automation of it is just broken. Or maybe it's broken on purpose. I don't know. But it didn't work. And I have all the information here. So, I have the tracking of the item that I sent to them. So there's proof that the item hadn't arrived when they said it was fake. And then they opened the return request. I have the return being sent a day before. It's all right here in the tracking details. This item was sent the day before my item arrived. So all the information's right there. Clearly, it's not a Funko Pop in there. It couldn't possibly be. They hadn't had the Funko Pop yet. So it is a bit of a test here to see if the automated system works. And I hope to report on a future video that is not the case. And it doesn't, but I suspect it might not, which is kind of my point. If it doesn't, what's the point of having the report button anyways if it doesn't actually happen until you make an appeal on the automated response? That's really not the way to do business. I've got tons of shipping questions lately, and even a few about this. My next video is going to have all those questions y'all sent me, even the ones I don't really want to answer. I'm going to do my best to answer them as truthfully as I possibly can, even though I don't normally answer those questions. That'll be the next one. But a lot of questions about shipping, and I wanted to thank Cassidy for buying plans for the Commonwealth Picker shipping table over on CommonwealthPicker.com. In other words, I want to see if that report a buyer is like a placebo button that, you know, you can filter out all these people who report and then they're not going to follow up with it. You know, I'm not a big fan of that. I hope that's not the case, and what we will see. But I also know this. There are a lot of folks over at eBay that I have met. Now, they're not the same crowd that was running it 15 years ago and whatever. Are really, really good people, and they're sincere. And I certainly know that a lot of those people up here aren't those people who are dealing with people through these automated systems, and that's a problem. This next one is kind of should be in the dolls. Look at that right there. Section at the bottom. It's not quite meeting our requirement, but it was already listed in the store before we did it, so I just left it. $9. It's an LOL surprise doll. I think that's right. And that sold for $9 plus shipping. You know, we all know that there are costs involved in customer service as well, and that's a consideration, right? I think most of us don't expect every single thing to get right and be right and to have personnel dealing with every single claim and doing investigations to the hilt and all that. But at the same time, I do think in the egregious, obvious situations, if they would get those right, it would go a long way in keeping those habitual abusers of eBay resellers off of the platform. That would be a big step. And this person is clearly a habitual, not only abuser of getting free items, but let me tell you, if you didn't see these messages, go back and watch this video right there. I mean, it's kind of crazy. My wife read that and she was like, what in the world? Lock the doors and, you know, get all, you know, all this security and stuff. And that kind of stuff is just definitely should be taken care of, at least the best of their ability. And I think they will in this case, fingers crossed. But I think if we see more and more of this stuff, you know, report those buyers. Go through the steps. Go to the post office if there's fraud involved. Do whatever it takes. You know, I've heard people calling the police department. I don't know if that stuff works, but do everything in your ability if you think it's somebody habitual who's abusing other resellers as well. Back to the Damn Dolls, the new Damn Dolls. Sold these two together. It is that time of season again, isn't it? The political season is here. The Republicans and the Democrats. Right there. Sold them together. Figured it'd make it easier. And if I just sold that one on a video, I'd get yelled at. If I just sold that one on video, I'd get yelled at. But sell them together, who's going to yell? $25.90 plus shipping. You know, there are some houses divided by politics out there. Happy New Year to you, Kevin, and your family. I believe you mentioned the Webster Flea Market in one of your videos. My husband and I go every Monday. Hope to meet you there someday. Pray for our country. And when you need to, well, we'll say, I got it. I'm not reading it all. Melissa, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'll tell you what, if all goes well, the 22nd, we're doing a live Whatnot from the Webster. Y'all, if you want to go over to Whatnot, you can use that link below. We're going to have special guests. We're going to do all kinds of fun stuff, giveaways. I'm hoping Joel sends me tape so we can give people who are there a roll of tape, at least some people anyways. And we're going to give away some my go-to tape as well. Code Commonwealth if you want to go to American Bubble Boy and grab some of that tape. I absolutely love it. There's all kinds of different types over there, including 3-inch. But we will see. Thank you so much, and I hope to meet you someday. Back in the Harley bin, and this is a style belt we have not sold yet. This one's pretty cool. Right here with all those different ones. Boy, I've got so much stuff. Y'all, all this stuff. That whole box came from y'all. All of this came from y'all. I am going to apologize again. We're going to probably have to do a show of nothing but folks sending us stuff. Maybe we'll do another Q&A show so I can get caught up and thank all you folks out there. This belt sold for $31 plus shipping. You know, that Webster flea market question got me thinking about something else. You know, I've complained about in the past, and I've kind of rung some warning bells along with some other folks as well out there who have done the same thing. I know John has done it over at Flippin' 8 Easy and a few other folks. The Informed Consumer Act, where there's all kinds of different things. You know, the informed consumer, all this stuff is supposed to protect the consumer, which that's what it's saying. But in reality, I've made this argument before, what it's really doing is protecting big business and government interests and the interests of big government and big business together, which I think is an issue. And it's all doing it in the name of the consumer. But in the case of eBay and other reselling platforms, you know, our names and our addresses and all this information out there to protect the consumer, when in reality, you know, we're everyday Americans too. The typical reseller out there should at least enjoy some kind of protection, at least by the platforms that we sell on. I get all the complexity and all the difficulty in it, But like I said, in egregious cases, I think it needs to be done. Sold a vintage Motu Hordak right here with his weapon. It's got a few little ring issues down there on his hips as far as they're not quite stable, but still in pretty decent condition for an older item like that. And this one sold to Josh, sold to a viewer, $15.30 plus shipping. Add that to our list. Haven't sold one in a while. I'm gonna add $13. That might be just a tick too much, but what the heck. $975 after fees, after shipping from a 220 buy. That Hordak buy was actually a viewer, Josh, and I missed it, so I'm filming it later, putting it back in here. Sorry, this isn't a real sale since I'm a viewer. He says, I find it funny you get a bunch of crap over that. Enjoy the content. Thanks for the deal. Can't wait to get it in my collection, Josh. Josh, thank you. I appreciate it. Here's an item that's one of the absolute oldest items in the store. Not the most popular model here. We still got over $15 for it, but it went off on our 30% off clearance sale. Anything that's been in the store for over, I think, 300 days. So I'm glad it's gone. Now, I considered not talking about this at all for some of the reasons I already mentioned. And some of those reasons have legitimacy to it for sure. Because part of this, if it was only dealing with somebody who was just messing with social media creators, but there are so many components to this that lead me to think that that's not just the case. Although it is clearly the case, because Flipping Junk over there has those videos and you should go check them out and see what's in there and what's in his returns. I haven't opened that yet. I tell you what, I will probably open it within the next week or so on a video, but I do think I'm going to take it to the post office before I do that. If it were just a social media type thing, I would, you know, this is not something we talk about often, but you know, obviously you put yourself out there on social media, and I have my kids in the videos for, you know, 30 seconds each video and stuff. And I know all this stuff and the risks involved in it and the silliness that goes on. But it is a concern, and we take huge precautions, especially when I'm gone and my family's not gone. I take huge precautions, and we make sure things are dealt with in a way that's prudent and responsible. And, you know, there's no reason anybody should have to deal with that. But I wouldn't have dealt with it if it was just that, because these are personal choices that I make to be on social media. But when it spilled over and I started to get these other messages from folks, by the way, thank you to all the viewers who were kind enough to send me some information about it. I do appreciate that. When I got those messages, and it corresponded so much with what I've talked about in the past, I figured it was worth doing. And I have no, look, I hope this person finds help. I don't know how to find them help, but I hope that they find help, because clearly they need some help in some way, shape, or form. But, you know, we have the addresses, we have the information, we have all that stuff. At the very least, this person should not be buying stuff. At least not buying it without some personal skin in the game here. They're not even paying anything to do this. That's crazy to me. Sold some Hawk cologne, because, you know, everybody has to have Hawk cologne. $15.15 plus shipping. Took me a while to find this lot. A viewer, Lola, bought 3 of these. I like these. Look at that one. It's like under the sea. It's very cool in a floral print. $38.85 plus shipping. And she did leave a message on the purchase, so I appreciate that. Repeat buyer, and I'm buying 3 for my coworkers. Stress relievers, you know. Would you package them together and give me a break on shipping? So yeah, we can do that. After we ship them off, we will refund 2 of the shipping charges to you. So we appreciate that. My Steelers Damn It doll arrived today, and I think these will come in handy the next few months. Any rate, thank you. We do appreciate that, Lola, very, very much. I didn't have to do these today, but I figured I would because I already had them out. And these are going to a viewer as well. They're going to Julia. And she left a message. And she left a message about the back. She said, I finally got it when I looked at the message on the back. So I'll read it to you. By the way, that looks like the Patriots colors and the Lions colors. These are Win Damn It dolls. And, of course, the Lions beat my Rams the other day. But good for Detroit. You guys needed that. And Jared Goff. I liked him, too. Although I will say that Stafford brought us a Super Bowl. So when your team's getting creamed and you just want to scream, here's a Win Damn It doll that you can't do without. Just grab it firmly by the legs and find a place to slam it. And as you whack the stuffing out, you win, damn it. Very cool. So thank you for that. And of course, yes, she is a Lions fans. So, Julia, we appreciate it, and congratulations to you for their win over there. We'll see how it continues. This is filmed before their second game of the playoffs, but I am an automatic Lions fans because, you know, anybody who might have a chance to beat San Francisco in the future. I don't know how those games have all worked out, but that would be cool. All right, y'all, we got both puppies in here today because they're all freaked out because of snow. And Reagan's got some thank yous. What do you got?
Michael, Phil, Wayne, Kathy, Richard, and Ronnie.
And Ronnie got a shirt. The rest, everybody got...
a shirt and a man sticker.
Yeah, got the giant In-A-Man sticker, which is available
at commonwealthpicker.com.
All right, we got everybody in here. Blueberries and Mama's helping me ship, too. Thank you, baby. All right, y'all, Turner has some Commonwealth comedy for you. What do you got on this snowy day out there?
What do you call a princess who falls down on the ice?
What do you call a princess who falls down on the ice? I don't know.
Slipping Beauty.
Slipping Beauty. Thank you, bud.
Bye.
All right, y'all. I know there'll be some folks disappointed that I didn't open that, and my apologies. Maybe I shouldn't have mentioned it until I did or knew the contents, but I will. But you can see it's already leaking in there, and it's leaking on the other side. I would show that, but it has the address. I'm not going to do that in there, and I don't really want to open it here. I want to open it in front of them and have it on video, of course, and do all that stuff. So, any rate, I appreciate it. I know there's a lot of criticism for me doing a video like this, and some of it is, you know, it's legit to some degree. I did debated about it myself, but I do think it's important, and, you know, we can agree to disagree. But I appreciate everybody watching and the support. Somebody's giving me a call. I better take this here. But thank you for everything. Don't forget, on the 22nd, check out that live whatnot over there. It should be fun. Thank you again, and I can't wait to see you next time.